This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Africa joins the rest of the world in mourning Argentine football great Diego Armando Maradona, who passed away on Wednesday in Buenos Aires. Tonight's sports scene celebrates the man who brought joy to millions on the continent with a football at his feet. Hello, welcome to your weekly sports program that brings you all the sporting news and reviews from an African perspective. We will highlight the thrill of victory while also showing you the agony of defeat. This is Sports Scene. This is Richard Nta live in Nairobi. Let's get real, let's get live, let's get started. Here's what's coming up in the show. South African Patrice Motsepe's chances of becoming the next African football chief receive a boost. And Tunisia's frosty relations with AHMAD come to the fore following CAF boss's FIFA ban. Once again, welcome to Sports Scene. I'm Richard Nta. So good to have you with us. There is nowhere else to start as the football world mourns the passing of World Cup winner Diego Maradona. The Argentine legend is being remembered all over the world, including in South Africa, where he managed his national team at the 2010 FIFA World Cup and made quite the impression on many people over there. CGTN's Diego Maradona has more.
During the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa, Diego Maradona's Argentina were based here at the University of Pretoria's High Performance Center in the capital of the Rainbow Nation. The man, described as a troubled genius, regarded by many as the greatest to have played the game, was very much the center of attention, despite a squad that featured some of the biggest names in world football, including a young Lionel Messi.
You know, he was a free spirit. You know, he had a very, hectic security detail around him, where, you know, he can't move, he can, easily interact with people. There were always security around him, but, you know, just like the way he used to do on the field by dribbling people, he will always somehow find a way to dribble the security.
So every Tuesday and Thursday night, what Diego did is he put it out there that there's a Legends Evening at Tux. And on this particular field that I'm standing on at the moment, he and legends, the Paul Gascoignes of this world, the Ian Wrights, anybody that was somebody in the world football descended on this facility, and at 7:30 on a Tuesday and Thursday night, they played a game of football. So I was able to watch them. Yes, I would say they waddled, they didn't run, but certainly it was amazing. That's the respect he had from his peers.
To many, Maradona was the best they had ever seen. His talent unrivaled, and his ability to influence a game was on another level compared to his teammates.
I think, if you watch the way he played football, in his peak, he made it look so simple. I'm yet to see maybe Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi comes the closest of the current generation now. But you will struggle to find somebody who really played football as purely as he did.
They arrived back from the 4-0 defeat against Germany and went into hibernation, he did in fact, and only came out when they left the next morning. And he just said a fleeting goodbye, and that was it. And that was my last memory of Diego. So yeah, it was a sad, but it just shows you how he carried the weight of his nation on his shoulders and how much it hurt him for them to go out in the quarterfinals.
The footballing icon will be forever remembered for having a larger-than-life personality, his gifts on the field and his demons off of it. But despite the many opinions on the legendary 1986 World Cup winner, he always found time for people wherever he went, especially during his time here in South Africa, where he left an unforgettable impression on the people of the Rainbow Nation. His energy and presence will be sorely missed. Diego Maradona, CGTN, Pretoria.
Tunisian referee Ali bin Nasser, now 76, has told CGTN that he had no option but to award the first goal in the 1986 World Cup quarterfinals between England and Argentina that was immortalized as the, quote, hand of God, close quote, by the late great Diego Maradona. Nasser recalled how Maradona gave him a signed shirt. when they met again in Tunis in 2015. Here's Adnan Shawashi with reactions from Tunisia over Maradona's death.
Ali bin Nasser, the Tunisian referee from England's defeat by Argentina at the 1986 World Cup, described Maradona as the best player in history.
Maradona visited me with his wife and shared my lunch at home in Tunis. I was very proud and honored. He kissed my hand and said, "Ali, my friend." He offered me his jersey on which there is written, "My eternal amigo." Ali, he signed Diego Maradona.
Ben Nasser says he's proud and honored to have helped Diego Maradona score the goal of the century.
I told him it's not Argentina that won the World Cup, it is Maradona. Without you, my friend Ali, had it not been for you, I wouldn't have been able to score the goal for the century because I was almost taken down by England's defenders 3 times. But you, Ali, encouraged me to play the advantage and score again.
In June 2019, Tunisian rappers LA and El Castro released a song entitled Maradona. The video clip is now being shared on social media to celebrate the legacy of the Argentinian footballer, who is viewed as a courageous and self-made man.
The song portrays Maradona as an icon, an example of success, not just a footballer. We shot the video clip in our neighborhood. This title is eternal, just like Maradona.
Tunisians consider Diego Armando Maradona as a football genius. He will also be remembered as the god of football who played the game with joy. Adnan Shawashi, CGTN, Tunis.
The sad news of the passing of Argentine football icon Diego Maradona has taken the world by storm. The man who was adored by many across the world died of a heart attack in his home country. Maradona had been recovering from brain surgery that he had undergone earlier this month. The world has been pouring in their tributes to the man named the Golden Boy, and Egypt has not been left behind.
Maradona is a legend of football. He is the pleasure of the sport, its beauty. He's the star of the 1986 World Cup. I think it will be another 100 years before we see a player like him. I remember the goal he scored with his hand. He's a fun character, and he admitted it later. He put Argentina on the map. Egypt is saddened by his death. It's a shock to all of us.
Maradona was the icon of the football generation we witnessed with our own eyes in the 80s. He was very talented. He was the best of that time, and that was not an easy thing. Brazil was still strong. The world had missed Pele, so the whole planet was waiting to see who the next remarkable player would be. I think he became more famous.
To me, Maradona is the best football player on earth. For some time, they tried to compare Maradona to Messi. Messi could have better individual talents, but as a team player and leader at a national team level, Maradona is incomparable. He lifted the World Cup. Messi did not.
While the action continues on sports scene, don't go away. A lot more coming your way. Here's a look at what's ahead. South African Patrice Motsepe's chances of becoming the next African football chief receive a boost.
The greatest journeys, the greatest sights, the greatest adventures.
Here in Qanater, this weir allows the locals to walk on water.
We're far more than just TV news. We're your passport to the wonders of Africa.
To bring you stories of struggle, survival and hope.
So let's explore. CGTN. See the difference.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. Thanks for staying with us. Well, the chances of South Africa's Patrice Motsepe taking the helm of the Confederation of African Football have dramatically increased. And that's off the back of CAF President and FIFA Vice President AHMAD AHMAD being handed a 5-year ban for breaching the FIFA Code of Ethics. Here's CGTN's CS Duplessis with more.
AHMAD AHMAD is the latest administrator to fall victim to the FIFA Ethics Committee due to his questionable activities during his checkered tenure as CAF president. And his 5-year ban disqualifies the Malagasy from running in the upcoming elections and means that African football will have a new president come the 12th of March in Rabat next year.
And obviously now of AHMAD's suspension, it opens the door, I think, even more widely for Patrice Motsepe. And yes, it did come as a shock at first. But I think maybe that's the type of president, CAF needs, someone that doesn't have self-interest in the position. I mean, he's got a lot of influence, not only on the African continent, but across the world. I think he can bring, a lot of, success and status to the position, and hopefully take it to greater heights.
A lot of campaigning work lies ahead for the busy South African billionaire and his vast team, who will look to garner support from AHMAD's old stomping ground, the Kasafa region.
What remains for Patrice now and his people is to ensure that they lobby all the COSAFA countries so that when they go there, they vote for him. Because if Patrice has got all the, the regional support here in COSAFA, then definitely his chances will be much greater. Because if you look at the guy from Senegal and Ivory Coast, they will have a bit of a problem there if they both go to the final round of voting, because their voice they will be divided. So he definitely works on Patrice's favor.
Prior to the sanctions handed down to the former CAF president, AHMAD claimed he had the support of 40 of the 54 member countries. But since the ban, those votes are very much up for grabs, which could be a massive advantage for the owner of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Obviously, it dilutes the votes now for Morocco next year. And, the guys he's running up against, are from West Africa. I think they will all be combating almost for the same votes in the end of the day. Patrice has already got support from Botswana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and obviously the support of Gianni Infantino. And I think that will stand him in good stead to win the race.
Because of the passion that he has for football, I think maybe he may go in there and make the necessary changes to ensure that CAF is run in a professional manner, which is something that has not happened in many years.
With the downfall of the former CAF president, the door to the vacant office in Cairo is now ajar. And with AHMAD AHMAD's allies now dispersed, it could well be a golden opportunity for Patrice Motsepe to begin campaigning for new alliances in order to stake a claim for the keys to the most powerful position in African football. CS Duplessis, CGTN, Johannesburg.
Meanwhile, South Africans have been speaking about the upcoming CAF presidential elections, and they believe businessman Patrice Motsepe could make a huge impact in the March 2021 polls.
Patrice Motsepe is a well-known business person, like an entrepreneur. He's been doing well in business. He's been doing well to raise awareness in sports, sponsoring sports, especially in schools and in the community. So I think it will be a very good opportunity for sports to have someone like Patrice Motsepe, because he started from the beginning, like from foundation going up until international.
In terms of sports, when you look what he did towards Sundowns, he had developed Sundowns from scratch. Sundowns now it's something very big. So Sundowns is categorized as a very big team because of his effort. And then when you check the former coach of Sundowns, Pitso Msimane, is even abroad because of his effort. He gave him a chance where he was making errors, but he gave him a chance. Now it's something big. He's a very big person, Mr. Msimane, because of his work. So Mr. Motsepe, it's a very clean person.
Patrice Motsepe has got a very good track record in terms of business and as well as in terms of sports. I'm referring to soccer at this time, because ever since he took over Sundowns, Sundowns has been doing very well, I can say. And it's also his businesses, they are running very well. It will clearly indicate to you that he's a very good person in terms of managing business things. Now, to me, it gives him the very good opportunity. And you can clearly understand that it's one person who is not actually trying to grab the position for being greedy or for trying to do things which actually might jeopardize other people. I'm saying that because he's not a person who's going to steal money. Let me directly put it in that way. Yes, so I should think he's a very positive and a very relevant candidate who's going to make it.
When AHMAD AHMAD was elected as CAF's new president, he appointed the youngest secretary general in the history of the organization. The late 34-year-old Egyptian Amir Fahmy was the third generation of the Fahmy family to occupy the position. However, he fell out with Ahmed when he exposed the corruption in his administration. Fahmy died from cancer before he could witness FIFA convicting the CAF president. Here is CGTN's Adel Al-Maroui once again with more details.
After less than 2 years of service in CAF, Amr Fahmy was stunned by the magnitude of financial violations he saw AHMAD AHMAD falling into. Fahmy has inherited the secrets of the organization since Hayatu and had hoped to create positive change with Ahmed. When he realized CAF was following a corrupt path, he blew the whistle.
Amir Fahmy
had a major role in exposing Ahmad's corruption, which erupted very quickly. Mohamed El Sheri assisted Fahmy as well. He was the financial director at the time. Together they filed corruption accusations to CAF and French authorities. This is when Ahmad moved to eradicate both of them from CAF.
Fahmy sent an email to FIFA and CAF officials. Attached was a dossier that included Ahmed's financial dealings. The allegations included spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lavish cars and a remote office for the Malagasy at his home country. He documented tens of thousands of dollars sent to personal accounts of African Association presidents. The late Secretary General's first televised interview about these mind-blowing accusations was with CGTN. In it, he named some of the people he believed are involved in violating FIFA's code of ethics.
Morocco, they are not talking. Morocco, the president is involved in the corruption. Egypt, the former president, because he just resigned, was involved in the corruption. Nigeria, he was trying to be opposition. He did not fight for his right. South Africa, he used all this to become the third vice president. He did not look at the interest of his country, he did not look at the interest of his continent.
Thanks to Fahmy, the French authorities were the first to question Ahmed, specifically regarding a deal with a little-recognized sports equipment company called Tactical Steel. Ahmed directly gave them a contract almost 4 times more expensive than an offer from Puma for just 50% more items. Back then, Ahmed dismissed the allegations, claiming he was increasing CAF's revenues.
He made 20%. What was the number of games of the AFCON in 2017? It was 32 games. The increase of revenue should be 60%. Why? Because we went from 32 to 52. That was my negotiations back then with Lagardère Sport, but I was put on the side because of some issues. So 25% is nothing. If I get my assistant to do the job, he will get more than 25%. If I was still general secretary that has his own, if I'm working in another confederation and I have this, I would get you 100%.
After 2 audits, FIFA's adjudicatory committee has convicted Ahmed this week. Falling ill to cancer was Amr Fahmy's wake-up call. He realized that silence equaled compliance. It was a tiring journey for the youngest Secretary General CAF has seen. Unfortunately, the disease took his life before he seized the day when Ahmed became guilty.
Ahmed is appealing against FIFA's conviction, but until these investigations are over, he is out of the Confederation's presidential race. Meanwhile, both CAF and FIFA are refraining from commenting on the investigations as they are still ongoing. But many are expecting that more members in CAF would be included in this corruption scandal. Adel Al-Maroui, CGTN, Cairo.
All right, let's get more insight on the leadership crisis at the Confederation of African Football. And we are pleased to have CGTN's Adel El-Maroui, who joins us now from Cairo. Adel, great to have you with us on Sports Scene. Let's get straight into it, Adel. Mr. Ahmed has elected to appeal the FIFA ban. From precedents, not many have succeeded in overturning such decisions. Does he stand a chance, Adel?
Let's have a list of the accusations AHMAD AHMAD has been convicted from FIFA about, and that's not something common to see that FIFA's investigative committee reach a conviction for someone. He is accused of violating the duty of loyalty to football, offering and accepting gifts and other benefits, abuse of position, misappropriation of funds, and there is also now reports about looming sexual abuse scandal or sexual harassment scandal for the president, the former president, or the suspended president of CAF. These are a lot of accusations, most of which he has been convicted with already. Does he have a chance? It doesn't appear so. And there are already bank transfer accounts with thousands of dollars that have been transferred into other accounts within the football community in Africa. There are multiple financial transactions of getting, for example, lavish vehicles with more than $470,000 just 3 vehicles with that amount. That's besides more than $700,000 in freight transportation for items in the suspicious deal that he had directly given to Tactical Steel, the French company. So it doesn't seem that he stands a chance. However, we have to wait and see how FIFA's reopening the investigation because of his appeal will follow.
All right, Adel, there's no question there are a long list of accusations there. You know what they say, no smoke without fire. I guess it's going to be tough to beat, but let's see what happens. That brings me to my next question. Our former CAF General Secretary, the late Amir Fahmy, first blew the whistle on alleged corruption at CAF. You spoke to him before his demise. Has he been vindicated posthumously?
Well, so far it appears so. At least this is what he has been aiming for since the beginning. Amir Fahmy, when I spoke to him during the interview that we've seen part of it months back, he clearly said that he didn't want anyone to go to jail. He just wanted the corruption to stop. He wanted the bleeding of African football money to stop, and use these funds to develop the sport even further. This is the potential he has seen. So in terms of FIFA's accusations and conviction, he has been vindicated, but still we have to wait for what will happen, what is going to happen in the appeal for AHMAD AHMAD. Also, let's not forget about the sum of the football associations that he has clearly mentioned during my interview with him. We've seen already after Ahmed has sacked Amir Fahmy from his position as Secretary General, he started to get closer to the Moroccans in general. So why is that? I think this is a valid question that we need to think about. Is he guaranteeing their silence? Is there other things that need to be revealed to explain the relations between him and the Moroccan Federation? That's also a big and a valid question that also needs to be answered. So I believe partially he has been vindicated, but we have to wait until all the figures that represented this obviously big CAF corruption scandal become revealed.
All right, Adel El-Maroui, as always, thank you for speaking to us here on Sports Scene, my friend. Thank you so much for your insights. Let's turn our attention now to Tunisia, where the country is closely monitoring the suspension of CAF President AHMAD AHMAD due to the frosty relationship between the country's federation and the embattled African football chief. From Tunis, here is CGTN's Aden Chouachi.
Many sports attorneys and sports law experts assert that the Madagascan official was in the sights of justice over many suspicious activities. Accordingly, the 5-year ban from all football-related activity for financial misconduct was justified.
The AHMAD AHMAD corruption file is not new. Evidence was collected by investigators and it's been in the corridors of FIFA and the courts for 3 to 4 years now. In 2018, he was arrested in France for 2 days and questioned as part of a probe into corruption, breach of trust and forgery.
In September 2020, the Court of Arbitration for Sport dismissed Wydad Casablanca's appeal over the 2018-2019 CAF Champions League final and confirmed Tunisia's blood and gold club Espérance as champions. Mouti Dakhli argues that the verdict was a response to AHMAD AHMAD's mismanagement of the case.
The Esperance and Wydad case is one of the main scandals of AHMAD AHMAD's rule, both on the procedural and legal levels. Only 2 days after the finals in Rades, the Executive Bureau met and decided to replay the match and to return the Esperance gold medals, which is contrary to CAF regulations because this is the speciality of the CAF Competitions Commission.
Tunisian football analysts and sports journalists believe that the fall of AHMAD AHMAD was imminent because he tarnished the image of African football. Many people had expected the FIFA decision several years ago.
AHMAD AHMAD is leaving power in a humiliating way after 4 years in office. All indicators point to the spread of corruption in CAF during his reign. The corruption problems started from the first year. The result was expected.
The ban is a message from FIFA to all future CAF presidents and officials that even the suspicion of corruption is not tolerated. The image of African football is at stake.
AHMAD AHMAD's misappropriation of funds included a pilgrimage to Mecca for top African football officials, as well as corruption allegations related to an apparel contract. AHMAD AHMAD's ban will disqualify him from standing for a new term early next year. The Tunisian Football Federation has not commented on the FIFA's decision, which is a reminder that corruption continues to plague global and African football. Adnan Shawishi, CGTN, Tunis.
Well, that's it for this edition of Sports Scene. Remember, you can send us your feedback to the contacts on the screen and follow us on digital media platforms. Thanks for watching. Before we go, though, check out some of the magical highlights that made the late Diego Armando Maradona a football great of all ages.